because I went through and I ranked 11 of them. And Jayden Daniels I have at number 1 because I thought they had. I had KJ Jefferson at number 2. Number 3, I put Will Rogers. That's a lot of yards he's thrown for over the years, and he's coming back. He's going to smash some college football records.
You have him behind Daniels and Jefferson?
I do.
So they have Devin Leary third.
Okay.
In Kentucky.
Right. He's in Kentucky, transferred from NC State, and that's when we didn't know. I cannot I'll be very frank with you. I won't even bat an eye at the fact that I didn't know Kentucky's quarterback, because until July, when I can figure out who all transferred where and can get them all down on some paper, it's not in my brain. But Devin Leary, okay, I don't hate that, but I've got Rodgers at third. This is going to be really one that everyone rolls their eyes at and thinks I'm an idiot. I watched this stuff a little bit more closely than I should, and I was pretty damn impressed at 2 of the games he played last year, even though he didn't play a ton, especially with a bad offensive line and hurt weapons all over the place. I've got Connor Wigman at number 4. He was a big-time recruit, and I thought the game he played against LSU was really good. LSU put heat on him. I know they ran for 250-something yards, and A-Chain was all over the place, and that makes things easier on a quarterback, but I've got Wigman at number 4. I liked Brady Cook at the end of last year at Missouri. I've got him at number 5 here. I think that team is not very good, but his dual threat ability and kind of the plays he made late, I liked what he did. You mentioned, keep in mind, I haven't talked about Georgia or Alabama to this point, and we're through 5. I've got Spencer Rattler at 6. He played really, really poor football for about 8 weeks last year, and then something happened, and he started going nuts, and they won some games, and he was confident, and he was aggressive, and he looked the part of the number 1 quarterback in the country that he was coming out. So I've got him at 6. Throw Spencer Sanders in there at 7. He's going to be at Ole Miss, was at Oklahoma State for forever and a day. He's going to now run in Lane Kiffin's offense. I got Spencer Sanders at 7. I got Joe Milton at number 8 for Tennessee. He's going to have to come a long way from the guy he was against Pittsburgh 2 years ago when I was sitting there watching an 11 o'clock kickoff, and he kept airmailing the ball over easy touchdown catching wide receivers. But that offense is potent. They were going to have weapons, even though Hyatt's gone, and I understand that they're going to have to overturn that offense a little bit. But the talent's there for Milton, and I like his system, so we'll see what he can do. And even if he wins it, because Tennessee's got a 5-star quarterback coming in, but Milton's been around the block a few times. I think he's the guy right now. I'll go with Graham Mertz at number 10 from Florida. That does not scare me in the least as a team that's got to play Florida next year. I don't think Graham Mertz is all that good, and it's going to be in Tiger Stadium. I think LSU will be just fine in that game. He doesn't scare me. And this is where I'll put Jalen Milroe. If he's their quarterback, I've got him at 11th. He didn't play a ton, I know, and they scored a lot of points against Arkansas when he was playing, and Bryce Young got hurt. But he, to me, looks like a very unpolished passer. He looks like a freakishly big, fast guy who, to me, does not look at all like Bryce Young or Tua Tagovailoa or even like Mac Jones in the pocket. He'll have a good offensive line. He'll have a good running game. He'll have some wide receivers who can make some plays. This, to me, looks like a massive step back in quarterback from Alabama. So I messed up here. I thought that it was an SEC list. It was not an SEC list. Shay just deked me on the message board post on Bengal Tiger. He said that Jayden Daniels was the number 1 quarterback in the SEC because they had him in the top 10, and no other quarterbacks in the SEC were in the top 10 in the country. But just a seed to plant in your brain for those of you that are football heads, or even those of you that are locked in on baseball and don't really care about football right this second, like me, just a little seed in your brain. I'm not fully convinced that Bama's got their quarterback situation figured out. Now, they'll get the benefit of the doubt, as they probably should. I'll admit that. But I think going as far as to just assume that whoever it is that's next, whether it's the 5-star freshman from last year, whether it's Milroe, who was the backup last year, whoever the quarterback, just to assume, well, he's going to put the crimson jersey on. He'll have the number right there on the helmet. He'll throw for 3,700 and 38 touchdowns and 3, 4, 5 picks, and they'll be awesome. I'm not quite there. These other quarterbacks they brought in, we knew. I'll need to see it this time around. The odds are it's very good. But also, the odds are, in my opinion, it's not as good as it's been the last 5 years. Fair to say? I think that's fair to say. And then the other interesting dynamic of this, to bring it back to LSU, it's so odd, and I think pretty rare, that the masses outside of usually the bubble inside Baton Rouge, this little bubble overinflates what LSU could be. It's the optimism thing that I talk about all the time with all the sports, but football maybe even to a greater degree because there's more passion involved in football. But you overstate what you could be. In this case, the bubble doesn't love, in a lot of instances, the quarterback that LSU has, but everybody else does. All the national people, all the SEC people, On3, whoever, thinks that LSU's got a great quarterback coming back. And a lot of people who follow the program and listen to this show and post in the Bayou Ford chat and hit me up on Twitter or on the On3 message board or wherever in a cocktail party. I had Jayden Daniels. I don't know. That never happens. It's always the inverse of that. And that's going to be the narrative that we talk up so much in March with spring football and in July at media days and in August when they report to camp. It'll be a bunch of people from a national perspective going, I think LSU might have a chance to win the West again. I think that's a national championship contender. Look at the quarterback they got coming back. Look at this highlight reel. Look at these numbers. And then you'll go to the LSU fans and they'll be like, he holds on to the ball too long. I don't know. That's not how it's going to win. Right? I mean, how many of you are agreeing with that part of what I just said just listening to the show? I think a large amount. I'm between. I'm a long way from All-American Heisman Trophy candidate, and I'm a long way from get this guy out of here, just put Nussmeier in now. I'm not on either one of those teams. I'm in the middle of those where I think LSU's got a good quarterback with a skill set that is great in college football that at times is a little careful. Surprise, surprise. Hunt's taking the measure to take. It's more or less the way I'm wired. But this just lends credence to it. I look at On3 and they say that Jayden Daniels is the best returning quarterback in the Southeastern Conference. And most people go nuts. And then you go in the Bayou Ford chat and you see Rob Boudreaux says Hunt's an A&M fan. I will wholeheartedly admit that they live in my brain, but I despise them, truly, and I'm not a fan. They just take up too much of my mental capacity, which is not fairly limited as it is. Hey, thanks so much for watching the Hunt Palmer Show on YouTube. If you don't mind, throw us a like right below and hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next time.